Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video. So in previous video, pretty much I've set up MLIR 22. So in today's video, we're just going to be creating our first function using MLIR. And it's going to be a very practical tutorial, unlike all other tutorials out there that is very theoretical, where it goes straight into some complicated, complex, creating your whole compiler thing, or like creating your own dialects and so on without, like, before you even understand what MLIR even means. So yeah, let's get going. All right, so let's have our main function here. Pretty simple, right? All right, so first of all, we're going to create our module. So we're going to go with MLIR IR slash MLIR context. Actually, we're going to create our MLIR context first of all. So let's actually do that. But for that, it's inside of the namespace MLIR. So we're just going to include it here. And now, since we have that namespace in the scope, we could say MLIR context. And here's your context. All right, so we have created a context right now. Perfect. Now let's create a module. How we could create a module? Well, in like LLVM IR, actually creating a module is also an operation, just like other operations like add and so on. And that operation, it's a built-in operation. So we're going to include built-in ops here. And let's create our first module. So it's going to be module op or op create function. And then here we got our op builder. And location, or just location. In our case, we don't have like an actual source code that we're getting this from, so don't have like lines of code to debug and so on. So we're just gonna say a known location, right? And we're gonna say get, and we're gonna give it a context. And honestly, since I'm gonna be using this unknown loc a lot for all my operations, I'm just gonna store it right here, and there you go. Now let's see the next ones. So we need a name, but it's, optional. So this is how you create your first module. Congrats. Now we could even, in fact, like module print, and then you could say outs in namespace LLVM, and then it would just print your first, MLIR IR code, essentially. All right, as you can see, we have generated our first MLIR code. Nothing fancy, just a module. All right, so now let's try to create a function. How we do that? Well, first of all, we need, let's try to create a function, see what we're gonna need, right? But the thing is, we need the function operation, and everything in MLIR, it's like modular. Everything, even making functions, it's part of its own dialect, right? So for example, creating a module, it's an operation part of built-in OPS. Like if you want to actually, do functions, then you actually have to include IR, dialect, func, and grab your func OPS, IR func OPS. And of course you have to link to MLIR func dialects here, pretty much. All right, so now that we got that in scope, let's grab some other namespace right now, so we don't have to because the thing is, if we didn't have this, for example, we had to say this, right? Just to make sure you know what I mean. Anyways, using namespace MLIR func to grab all the operations from the func dialect in scope, and we're good. All right, so let's try to make a function right now. So func op create. And this takes a lock. Now there is a whole bunch of, overrides, but we're just using this one. And a name for the function, I don't know, let's call it f. And the type of the function, so let's create the func type here. And next up, we're gonna need attributes, which we're just gonna ignore. So let's go and create our function type right now. Okay, let's see. So func type, function type, right? And we're gonna say get, because this is actually a singleton. That's why we use get here. Because this is a type. All types are singletons that are stored and cached and unique in the context, the MLIR context. But as you can see, for the operations, you actually create them. All right, so let's give it the context here. And let's go to the next thing. So next thing is our inputs. Okay, so for the inputs, we're gonna need, let's say this function will take 2 integers, and it would add them together and return the results. So we're going to need an i32, but we don't have an i32 type yet. So we're going to create it, right? And of course, it would return i32 too. Right? So in MLIR, by the way, you could actually return multiple results too, in LLVM where you only had one result, but that's just something to keep in mind. Next up, of course, we're not going to bother with that right now. Next up, let's create our i32 type. So the i32 would be integer type, get, again, it's a singleton, and it's context, and the width, how much bits. In our case, I'm just going to say 32-bit, and here you could actually give it the signedness semantics, right? You could either tell it that this is signed or unsigned, or signless. Now, if you don't include this, if you omit it, it's just going to be signless, which means it doesn't have some exact semantics. Whatever operations we're going to use, it would change context, right? So in our case, we're just going to keep it like that, just like C and C++ code. It's actually signless. But either way, let's just go along right now. It's not very important. All right, so right now we got our function, how we can add some operations into this function. So let's actually see. Well, first of all, we actually have to add this function into our module, pretty much. So let's go. All right, so func. Let's see. I believe push back. Yeah, push back. And you give it the function or the operation you want to push back. In our case, it's our function. And that's how you add a function to your module. So by the way, what is a module? It's like a translation unit, like a whole, C++ file. Like let's say you have two C++ files, then you're going to have one module for each. Or let's say you have some other libraries and so on. Each one would have its own module, etc. Either way, we don't care right now. So let's see how we could right now fill this function with operations. So we're going to actually create let's see, add entry block. There we go. So we're going to add our entry block here where we could actually fill in operations. And next up, we can grab right now our arguments of our function. So let's say argument A is equal to func.getArgument. Argument. There you go. 0. And argument B is equal to function.getArgument1. So basically the second argument, because we have, as you can see, two arguments as inputs. And there you go. Perfect. So of course, make sure you don't get the arguments until you add an entry block to the function, because these arguments are actually attached to the block, to the entry block, right? So anyways, let's go to the next thing. So we're gonna right now create an OP builder. So let's actually create an OP builder here. Let's just call it B. Doesn't matter. And here what we're gonna need to give it is our region. So func body, get body. So basically you give it a region where you put code in. So the thing is, function is have a region, right? And that region have blocks, right? So we're gonna it's gonna be obvious what regions are about later on, and of course even blocks and so on. But for now, this is what we got. All right, so next up, we're gonna calculate the sum of the two arguments. So how are we gonna do that? Well, we could say b.create and add IOP. But to actually use the add operation, we have to add another dialect, which is MLIR dialect arithmetic, IR, and arith. Unfortunately, the names aren't always very, consistent, but this is what we got, unfortunately. Because these names, these dialects are actually developed by multiple people, essentially. But yeah, in fact, you could even make your own, because MLIR is very extensible. Anyways, let's also use in namespace MLIR arith. And right now we could say add integer operation. If you want float, then you're gonna go with F and so on. But there you go. And here you give it the arguments you're gonna need. And of course, the first one is the location of this operation. So if we're processing this from, let's say, some code of our own language, then the location would basically be something like in main.cpp, you know, line 24, column, blah, 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 right? So on. In our case, since we're just like, you know, manually building our Codegen here, we're just going to be passing it in along that unknown location. And next up, you got just some forwarded arguments to this add operation. And as you can see, this kind of sucks because you don't know exactly what are the arguments and so on. But let's just guess for now. Let's give it the operands arg-A and arg-B. And as you can see, it seems to work, but this is deprecated as of MLIR 22, unfortunately. So we have to use opty create instead. Though, of course, it still works, but you can already see why it got deprecated because you don't really get the arguments. You don't know exactly what's going on there, which really sucks. So we're going to use instead add IOP create, just like we've done with the function and so on pretty much. And yeah, so here we can give it the builder. So this is the second overload, right? So builder. And what's next? We're going to give it the location. So loc. And what's next? The operands. So the operands would be our argument A and argument B. Now notice since we are we're using the create function of this particular thing instead of that generic template thing, we actually know exactly what are the arguments here. This is the left-hand side of the operation. This is the right-hand side. So we're basically trying to add the argument A of the function with the argument B. So this, the first and the second argument. And then finally, we want to return the result of this operation. And how we do it is by saying return op create again. You give it the builder, then the loc, and finally the operands, which is going to be our sum, but not just sum alone. This will actually error because that's an operation. So if you want to actually get the result, you have to say get result. In like in LLVM, we used to actually pass in along the operand directly, but in MLIR, for whichever reason, you actually have to say get results. And that's pretty much how you do it. Now, if you actually run this, you should get your MLIR code written for you. And whoops, internal error. Okay, so we got a linker error apparently, which is quite interesting. I've got this a few times ago, and for now we're just gonna clean the build directories and reload the project. It happens sometimes. I'm not sure why the linker sometimes crashes in MSVC. So let's just reload everything and try again. Great that we actually got this error on video, so you know what's going on. All right, so we have a little error here. Name is registered and operation isn't registered, missing a dependent dialect loading. So the error here is basically saying that we used some operation that isn't registered currently. So how we register dialects, and indeed that's the case. So this is how we do it. We say context.load dialect. And in our case, we're gonna load our func dialect. And who's next? We're gonna load our arith dialect. So arithmetic dialect. And now it should work. And that was it, guys, for this video. Thank you all for watching. Next time, or next video, we're going to be basically lowering this MLIR code into LLVM code so we could actually GIT, like run it directly. Right, so that was it, guys. See you later. Goodbye, everyone.